numerically, but also in terms of the variety of brands represented. And there you can see the Mercedes-AMG repaired from yesterday. Chen Chun-Hua put the car in the barriers towards the end of the session, which had a number of red flags. And out of an entry of 25, only 8 drivers got a lap time in yesterday. It wasn't all because of accidents. A few people did have problems and incidents of their own, but we had so many interruptions to it, it was very hard to piece together a proper rhythm. Chen Chun-Hua is going to be a driver to watch. The championship already won with a round to go by Han Li Chao. There he is in the Toyota Gazoo Racing China GR Supra GT4 Evo 2. There's a silver class and an AM class, and your AM champion, who will come to a little bit further back on that dummy grid, is Moritz Berenberg with the Porsche Cayman. More variety, though, evinced by Lotus. As you look at Daniel Liu's Lotus Emira, this is the qualifying session that we're getting ready for, and it is going to be 30 minutes. David Addison and Alan Hyde trackside, and we always enjoy GT4. These cars a little bit slower, a little bit smaller, less aero than their GT3 big brothers, but they always give good racing around here.
A little bit more nimble. The GT3 cars are a treat. The noise, the size, everything about them on the gear circuit is just a little bit awesome. The GT4 cars, a little bit more nimble, a little bit more able to deal with the twisty and tight sections on the circuit. But the most important thing is these are local drivers. They're drivers from Chinese Taipei, from Macau, from China, and from Hong Kong as well, that all can compete, show their talent, show their sponsors on the world stage. And this is important to every single one of them. To be on the podium at Macau is something incredibly special for any of the drivers that are around the Greater Bay Area, of which Macau is part of the Greater Bay Area. And you see when we go down the cars in assembly area or pit lane, the waves to the camera and thumbs up, it just shows just how much this weekend means to all of them. And such a variety of cars as well. Just looking at the 55 car down there in pit lane, Kenny Chung. Not many of these cars yesterday were able to complete laps. We had quite a few stoppages yesterday during free practice, but now it's a bit different. It's all about qualifying, and now they really have to make it count.
Yeah, Kenny Chung was one of the drivers that triggered the red flag yesterday, not by crashing, but by stopping on the circuit. And this was another one, Lei Kit Meng, who's been a race winner here in the past, not in GT4, but in road sports, one-time British Formula 3 Championship racer. And Lei Kit Meng, whose team, RPM Racing, operates the car, that also ground to a halt on the track and caused an interruption as well. 10 different brands represented. Ginetta, Lotus, BMW, Mercedes, Toyota, McLaren, KTM, Audi, Porsche and Aston Martin. So it is a very impressive lineup indeed. As you look there at number 99, Wang Wei Hong's Level Motorsports Mercedes. Wang Wei Hong, who is from Macau. And number 21 there is Wang Ho in his Toyota Supra.
5 Mercedes we've got in the Greater Bay Area GT Cup, GT4 cars. It's good to see them out, and good to see so many manufacturers represented and so many models in GT4 racing. And we count down to getting the green light down in pit lane to release the cars onto the circuit. Hope they get more running today, because they really didn't get into any kind of a groove yesterday in free practice. Now they've got different conditions. It was overcast for the most part of yesterday. They were out on circuit early parts of yesterday afternoon, about 20 to 2 in the afternoon, when we had a bit of sunshine in the middle of the day, but by the time they got out on circuit, it was once again, it was a bit windy, it was a bit overcast, and now they've got proper nice warm temperatures here at Macau, pretty much the typical kind of climate that you'd expect for Grand Prix weekend.
Before he had an accident yesterday, Chen Chun-Hua was the fastest. The top 8 line up in the order of their time set in free practice yesterday within this dummy grid. Why the top 8? Because only 8 got a time, and then the rest have drawn lots for their order. And track position does matter here, so there is actually a little bit more focus on free practice, because it means you're going to be first out for qualifying. So free practice is a touch more important than perhaps it is in other venues. There's Lei Kit Meng getting away. One driver that is worth watching as ever around here, Darrell O'Young, who's won the GT3 race as well in seasons past, but these days a force to be reckoned with in GT4 with his own team, Craft Bamboo Racing. So out they come, and fingers crossed, as Alan rightly says, that we can get through this with minimal interruption, get lots of running in. Last year's GT4 race, which again was weather affected, turned out to be an absolute stormer, didn't it? It was a virtual dead heat at the very end, although sadly a penalty for one car did change the result subsequently, but it was a really, really good race, and we'd like more of the same this year. Cars making that climb now up San Francisco Hill. The SRO GT Cup began at Shanghai. It kicked off supporting the Chinese Grand Prix, and it was pretty bright spotlight, but it got a good grid and good racing for wins going the way of Chen Lian and Han Li Chao. At Ping Tan, it was Han Li Chao's Toyota that won both. Daniel Liu had a win on the streets of Beijing, and so did, for the 4th time, and to win the championship, Han Li Chao. That was a month ago. That's Moritz Berenberg's Porsche Cayman. There you've got the Aston Martin going through as well, in the hands of Yang Meng Zhao. So it's a 30-minute session, and drivers looking for a bit of clear track space. So they are drama already for Ginetta, and it is Brian Lai's car that has come to a stop. Where is that? It looks like pit out. So Brian Lai has not even gone onto the circuit. Car stopped at Marshall's post 1.2. So pit out Marshall's post. So I don't think that's necessarily an issue. Should be able to be pushed back into the pits from there. But Brian Lai, who had a pretty torrid day yesterday, didn't get a lap time in, hasn't even gone onto the circuit yet.
That's a disappointing way to start qualifying, isn't it? And as they thread their way down now from the Melco hairpin, you can see that green flashing light. That's when they're out of the no overtaking zone, when the circuit runs downhill down towards Black Sands and Fisherman's, and when overtaking is allowed once again. On the approach and through the corner at Melco hairpin, throughout the 4 days of the Macau Grand Prix weekend, no overtaking through Melco.
So there, Moritz Berenberg in the Cayman, heading up towards the timing line. He raced in the GTC, the club level German GT Cup last year. He's been racing in both China GT and SRO GT Cup this season, and accelerating his way up towards the line. Moritz Berenberg has been a regular front runner, not an outright race winner, but he has been 4 times the AM winner and twice second overall. Red flag. Session stopped. Is that for the Ginetta, or is there something else that has happened around the circuit? We'll find out in a moment. So, big frustration, not a flying lap achieved, and the clock stops because this is a qualifying session. So, you know the score. Free practice, the clock ticks, you lose the time. Here, you are given the time, although, of course, it is affected by the fact that when the session goes live, you've got to do a start-up lap, an out lap, rather than go straight onto a flying lap. But drivers pushing on here because they'd like to get back to the pits with as much warmth in the tyres as they can.
Opportunity to talk a little bit about Darrell O'Young. His final weekend competing this weekend.
Oh, is it?
And, yeah, he was sort of with mixed emotions heading into Macau this weekend. The announcement of his final livery, and he wants to finish on the top step of the podium. So we saw him this morning as we were walking in, quite happy and quite smiley, didn't he? Waving to everybody coming in. He's a big hero.
Yeah, he is.
Around this part of the this part of the world. And if you remember when he won that race that you were talking about earlier on, the GT3 race, and what they had to do to that car to get it out after repairing, he's got quite a few stories over the years here at Macau, and yeah, it's what's the phrase? It's going to be emotional.
True enough. Yeah, he hit an oil slick, didn't he, in the qualifying race, plowed into the barrier, and the car was very badly damaged. It was repaired, and we're going back to the COVID period where Transfer GT Cup champion, bringing the Supra back towards the pit lane. Why is Darrell O'Young retiring?
I don't know.
Oh, he's just decided time's up. Yeah, okay. That is the Ginetta of Lau Kim Ho, another of the RPM Racing Team cars, going back to its pit box. Into the pit road come Toyota and Lotus, respectively. I think it was for the Ginetta. We saw that car being pushed back, so the session interrupted to remove that car, and the clock stopping with 26 3/4 minutes. Number 95 is Darrell Young in the Craft Bamboo Racing Mercedes. And Darrell didn't get a lap time in yesterday. He does know the circuit, so it's not like he's losing in terms of track knowledge, but he wants to be out there and he wants to be competitive, and as Alan said, he definitely wants to win this weekend.
Just to give you an idea of how big Darrell Young is in this region, a couple of years ago we were walking out of the circuit one evening, and for sale there were Darrell Young action figures with changeable helmets, race suits, trophies, all of that kind of thing, about the size of an action van.
Right.
So not a small little model, but they were beautifully packaged in little presentation boxes and all that kind of thing. And they were selling.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing. I couldn't shift the David Addison life size.
No, they never caught on, really. No. Can't imagine why. Now there, Miguel Ley, who is not only a driver who is from Macau, but he is a driver who works at one of the corners. He works at the Grand Lisboa Hotel down at turn 3. Number 6 is Kelvin Leung's BMW, which is always a competitive car, and Kelvin Leung himself has been a mainstay of races here, whether it's been in road sports or more recently GT4 for a decade or so. Number 29, McLaren, is Ip Un Ho from the LW World Racing Team stable. Ip Un Ho, number 29, ready for the resumption of the session.
Desperately sort of looking through social media posts to find out why, after 38 years of racing, it's time to put it behind us. I've been so fortunate to have such a long and fun career in motorsport, starting at the age of 8 with the support of my family. I never imagined to be able to race cars for a living, and to sustain that for over 38 years really is a dream come true. So no particular reason, just the time is here to hang up the helmet.
38's an odd number, you know, you might think 40 years, but anyway, good luck Darrell Young. And let's hope that come the end of qualifying, he's in the mix for a race win, which would indeed be quite something. A number of the brands in this, of the 10, only with GT4 representation, 1 or 2 crossover into GT3, but it's almost an exclusive group for some. There
I've got another Darrell Young stat, by the way, from that statement that he put out on social media announcing that he was hanging up his helmet after Macau. What a way to go out, really. His 20th Macau Grand Prix weekend.
Maybe that's the number.
Yeah, that's the number.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Fair enough, with you. Wong Cheng To's McLaren. McLaren is a brand that does have GT3 and GT4 representation this weekend. That car put into the queue. The session's going to be resumed on short call. And I'm trying to work out if there's anything else that we're missing other than Brian Lai's Ginetta, because I would have thought that car was out of harm's way by now. So nothing else around the circuit. So it's just a case of once the Ginetta is back to the team and marshals are back on post, then we're going to be ready to go. Lei Kit Meng in typically enthusiastic form. Absolutely loves his racing, doesn't he?
He really does. You can see the joy is represented really in the colour scheme of the car. There's Dayglow yellow, there's Dayglow pink, there's purple. The car absolutely screams we're here at Macau. And Lei Kit Meng, who was a winner last year in the road sports category here at Macau, top step of the podium. Absolute joy when he was there. That switches across to GT4 for this weekend. You cannot help to be enthused by the drivers that compete in the Greater Bay Area GT Cup and the road sports categories as well. Super stuff.
There you can see Yang Kei-wen's Mercedes AMG, and we were told that the session would resume on short call round about 11:21. So that's the estimated time, and we are about 30 seconds away from that. So there's the board, indeed. Good, we're back on for the resumption of the session now.
Did you rehearse that? We're about 30 seconds away, air horn, board. Well done.
I'd like to say that it's just down to natural skill, but just occasionally luck is on my side.
It certainly is. And we've got of this session remaining, you know, when we get the cars back out on circuit. 26 minutes and 45 seconds remain on the clock. The teams holding the cars down in pit lane in the sunshine. We're off, and the race to get out to pit lane exit. This is a very full grid, two sides of A4 for the mates to head into the Greater Bay Area GT Cup GT4 race this weekend, and that is a very strong entry.
It is indeed, as the Audi of Miguel Lay goes down the pit lane. I think the KTM was still being held, wasn't it? That car for UT Red. But everybody else now out on track. The Supras have all got themselves together. Toyota triple as they go into Lisboa. Hopefully they'll come out the other side of it. Yes, they do. Plus Moritz
you were
Berenberg
thinking
in
the same
Porsche.
as me. That was quite a wide entry, wasn't
yes, exactly.
it? As it went out of view. Good. That's good news. Phew.
Presumably Miguel Lay has said to one of his rivals in this, if you do run wide at Lisboa and you can't rejoin, there's a voucher to go to the bar. You know. Don't waste the opportunity. Come and enjoy the delights of the Grand Lisboa. Number 23 is under investigation for overtaking under a red flag, 23 being the McLaren of Wong Cheng To. And so we are back in business for this qualifying session. And
I think we're just in business.
Well, yeah, true, yes. We'll wait and see whether Brian Ginetta is able to get out, or whether that's done at all for the day.
To bring each and every race. See how tight it is coming down from the Macau hairpin. You are within an inch of the barrier on the exit of the corner. If you are close in a GT4 car, imagine what we've got in prospect at the end of our afternoon when you see the GT3 cars threading their way around the Macau hairpin. But just to finish off, it is great that we have viewers around the world for the 4 days of the Macau Grand Prix. I'm sure for many people we are a guilty pleasure in your ear while you're at work, doing whatever you are doing, wherever you are in the world. You are more than welcome. It's super that we've got so many viewers around the world. This is the Greater Bay Area GT Cup GT4 cars, and we're getting the first of the flying laps being started now, and this is good news because we have got further than we have got before.
So that is Kelvin Leung's BMW, which ought to be there or thereabouts, and he comes down to Lisboa now then. The yellow and purple M4 brakes hard for Lisboa, and he misses the corner, goes wide, just avoids the barrier, and gets a round of applause from the marshal for surviving that.
Rightly so.
Whoa, that was a bit touch and go, and that's one of your more experienced drivers, so, you know, mistakes can still come. Fractionally late on the brakes. I thought he was going to go up the escape road rather than try to make the corner. Make it he did. That was the save of the day.
Using all the skill and experience to say, I've got this.
Yeah.
Stand by. And does it within a centimetre of the barrier down at Lisboa. Really good work, that.
But the car behind, the Toyota, which is Han Li Chao, the champion in the SRO GT Cup. There, look, in the black and red Toyota Supra, looking at as a corporate. He is the man on the mission. He's done the absolute best in sectors 1 and 2. The sticker on the back that says silver is to reflect the categorisation that he's in, because within the championship there is...
Overtaking, of course, as they thread their way around and turn back on themselves. Now it's going to open up a little bit and the opportunity to get past, but the damage is done for this lap, I think.
Yeah, and especially if the BMW now picks up pace, because it means that Han is going to be stuck behind for another lap. Similar platforms, of course. The Supra owes quite a lot to a BMW chassis, so they come now down to the right-hander of our bend. This is the exit of the corner, and it's BMW staying ahead of Toyota. That BMW does not look an easy drive to me. It looks as though Kelvin Leung is having to really fight the car around the circuit in a way that Han Li Chao is not having to wrestle the Supra. This, in the meantime, is Darilo Yeung coming down towards Fisherman's, and he's got an absolute best sector time in 2 and 3. and 4, and this could put Darrell Young up at the top of the times, where at the moment you'll find Han Li Chao. The time to beat 2:33.4.
Could be a hero lap this for Darrell Young, number 95, up towards the conclusion of a lap, and currently 7th, goes top at 2:31.732 for Darrell Young. It might well be a hero weekend this weekend. 2:31.732 for Darrell Young. He will continue to grow the business with Craft Bamboo, just hanging up the helmet, the active competition as far as a driver is concerned for Darrell Young in his 20th Macau Grand Prix weekend. But that's a good way to do it, isn't it? Top of the times, 2:31.732.
And quicker by 1.7 seconds. And we know that Han Li Chao is not slow, but he was slowed up by that BMW getting in the way. So I think there's more to come from the Supra. It looks like Han has got past now. It is now Daniel Liu 3rd in the Lotus and Moritz Berenberg 4th.
Sector times, but we've just got it again. Darrell Young with a 28.157 in Sector 2. Absolutely matched by Han Li Chao in the 33 car, just behind. 28.1 to find a bit of clear track, because maybe it was a little bit disconcerting being so close to the BMW. Continues on his way, does Han Li Chao, and just puts in a personal best in Sector 3. So let's see also what number 20 Lu Wenlong can do. Currently down there in 3rd place, but has put in 2 overall best in Sector 1 and Sector 3 as well. And this is good news. They can get into a kind of a rhythm now, because we've been able to have a good few laps running around the gear circuit.
Han Li Chao's 4th sector, though, was over half a minute slower, very nearly 40 seconds slower than it should have been. So that does suggest that he's got a problem. And the car, we understand, is still crawling along. Yeah, Daniel Liu trying to get himself up through the traffic here to pass Fok Wei Ming. And the white flag there is to say there's a slow-moving vehicle up the road, and the slow-moving vehicle is there. Look, hidden behind the graphic, it's the Toyota Supra, hazard lights on. So, yeah, something has gone wrong in that car because it's in limp home mode. And Han Li Chao, 2nd fastest, but with a problem. That's Daniel Liu coming up towards the timing line in the Lotus Emira, and he was 3rd. He's about to break the beam and stays 3rd. Carrera Cup Asia champion back in 2021, Daniel Liu. Regular in GT World Challenge Asia over the last couple of seasons. So Darrell Young, Han Li Chao, and then Daniel Liu, the top 3.
2:31.732, the best lap of this qualifying session thus far. It is in the hands of Darrell Young in car number 95 this weekend. 2 exceptional cars of the field. Puts in also an overall best sector in Sector 3 as well. So 2 purples for Liu. And Berenberg puts in an overall best in Sector 4 as well. So now they can get into the swing of this. This is turning into a rather exciting session. Darrell Young puts in overall best in Sector 4. This could potentially be a good lap from Darrell Young. Just Sector 5 to go.
This is Moritz Berenberg coming up towards the end of the lap, and he is ahead of Young on the track, so we'll get the Porsche through. The Soul Cayman in the entry. And Moritz Berenberg goes up to 2nd then, as this is Daniel Liu with a bit of rear damage. Look, he's just grazed something and he's way wide at Fisherman's. And I think Darrell Young might be heading for the pit lane. There was a slow Mercedes ahead of Chen Chun-Kuai's number 15 Mercedes AMG there. So Daniel Liu comes into the right of our bend and goes over the tyre line. Chen Chun-Kuai goes through, and Darrell Young has come by, but slowly.
Didn't go into pit lane, and that's maybe just buying a bit more clear track space, possibly because the end of that lap, Sector 5, was much slower.
Here, though, has got no worries about traffic. He's on pin. We've got 13.75 minutes of this session still to go.
Got a few drivers from Macau, and the top runner in Macau. It was very often a sort of a battle for huge honour of being the top step of the podium. Is it going to be a Macau driver, or is it going to be a Chinese Hong Kong driver?
We've got a red flag, got a stoppage, and it's because there's a Ginetta blocking the road that has had a spin, and 77 it is, the car of Lau Kim Ho. And by the look of it, he's had a big old tank slapper, and Moritz Berenberg there has missed pit in. So he's going to have to crawl round under the red flag for one lap. So this should not take long to get the car out of the way, but there's no way you could leave the session live with the track blocked.
The whole process starts again. The clock stops, 13.5 minutes of the session remaining, and a bit of a kiss of the barrier there. And
a kiss?
Yeah.
A kiss? That was an affair. That was a full-on snog, that was. That was a whack into the wall. It was a bit,
wasn't it?
And a bit of damage done to the front of the Ginetta as well. You could see the way the fence and the barrier ricocheted, couldn't you, as the impact went through it.
It's an affair.
Right, red flag. That's our second, isn't it, of this session?
It is. So 13.5 minutes, just under, remain on this interrupted qualifying session. At least they got in a few consistent laps, one after another.
True.
So that's good news. Maybe 3 in total, I reckon.
I feel a bit sorry for Moritz Berenberg because he did an absolute best in the first sector, a personal best in the fourth, but couldn't get the time because of the red flag. And we're being told that at the end of the session, Wong Cheng To and his team manager have to go to the stewards. That's for the investigation over overtaking under the red flag. Now, normally when you are told to go with your team manager, it isn't so they can ask for your lunch order.
It's never going to be good,
No.
is it? No, I'm afraid.
Chen Chunhua, who was fastest yesterday, only 12th at the minute. Darryl Youngberg going down the pit lane. He is the fastest. He's not been in the SRO GT Cup this season, so it's nice that he comes and joins the ranks this weekend.
And once again, the opportunity for the crowd here on a Friday to see themselves on TV. Yeah, they never know quite what to do. Do you wave at the screen or try and find where the camera is? They're finding out now, and so good to see so many happy, smiley faces in the sunshine here in the grandstands. Absolutely loving the action. Whatever happens, they love the action here at Macau. It's the 99 car of Wong Wai Hong, the Level Motorsports anti-Mercedes AMG GT4 car. Competed here in Macau in the GT4 category, qualified 21st last year. Unfortunately, not classified in the final result for Wong Wai Hong. And you don't know, you point at the screen, the camera, where is it? Must be somewhere over there. Hang on, disorientating. And then finally you find the camera and wave to the camera itself. Great joy down there in the grandstands. Always good to see. Absolutely love this. You know you're in Macau when you get scenes from a grandstand like that.
Yeah, it's very true.
Very happy event, this.
After KTM, you can tell that from the cage inside, number 38, which is the car of Lu Ti Ren.
And we got wrapped late on Wednesday evening before we got to see event underway on Thursday. So it's a very last minute livery, just a few bits of orange on what is predominantly a white car, but I think the car design speaks for itself. You don't need a shouty livery on that car to get a bit of attention, do you? 55, Kenny Chung having a chat to the team down there in pit lane, and now the recovery vehicle in place for the recovery of the Ginetta, the G55 car, and with 77 bringing that session to a close. We've got 13 minutes and 23 seconds when we get the session back underway. That is that very impressive looking car, the number 20 car, Daniel Liu, the Lotus Emira, yellow and gold. You know, if they were coming up with a design for a livery in the UK ahead of the season, and somebody said, I want it bright yellow and we're going to have gold flashes on it, people would look up from their laptops and question that. It just works in this region.
Totally.
for racing. It just works.
Yeah, the liveries have always been very special in Asia. There is the Liu Kei-shun Team Pegasus Lotus Emira. The second car, sister car to Daniel Liu. Until it's getting sunny, people now try to shield themselves from the heat. There is Chen Chenhua, who was the driver quickest yesterday, the driver from Chinese Taipei. So he's ready to go, but we don't yet have a start time. I'm a bit surprised that Ginetta wasn't able to get going again. Maybe there was a bit more damage done in that whack at the front left corner than was evident.
So you've got this period of time now down in pit lane where you need to stay focused, keep thinking about what's in prospect, because there are potentially a lot of qualifying laps to go in this session. Marshall's going to work to get rid of debris. Ginetta being put on the back of the recovery vehicle, and the marshals that are so well drilled in the various things that you might need to do, dealing with a bit of fluid down there on the circuit as well, because it was quite a clump into the barrier. Darrell Young, car number 95, the Mercedes AMG, the Craft Bamboo racing car, with evidence of quite a bit of contact there for Darrell Young on the front left of the car.
One car that we haven't seen out today is the Kanchi Wei Ginetta that went off at Moorish yesterday, and I think we said at the time it didn't look good. It looked all, like the front had all folded in, and that is missing. So I think, sadly, number 67 of Kanchi Wei has had to withdraw for the weekend.
I think you may be right. Yeah, that was a rather damaged car, and interesting to see that superficial damage to Darrell Young's Mercedes AMG. You saw he's not deterred, waving and smiling at the camera, as is the driver of number 12, Fok Wai Meng, in the Team TRC Mercedes AMG. Number 89 car. Cao Tu Lung, the Rebel Motorsports Toyota. Door closed on the Toyota, and the multi-coloured Son Beng Racing Team colours, the yellow and the purple, so synonymous with these races here at Macau. Kevin Leung, the number 6 BMW.
3 minutes and counting before we get things back underway. So the team's being told to be on short call, but at, all being well, 11:45 then. So as Tai Cheng Ta gets ready to go in his Mercedes AMG, the drivers preparing themselves for the remaining 13 minutes.
After this, here at Macau, we're qualifying all the way today. We've got 2 sections of qualifying for the Macau gear race, which is the Kumo FIA TCR World Tour. Then qualifying for the Macau Formula 4 race. Those cars were first out on circuit this morning for their free practice 2. FIA FR World Cup, the Macau Grand Prix cars will qualify at 2:30 local time, and then the GT3 cars, the Macau GT Cup, they qualify at 20 to 4. That is live streaming timetable for this afternoon. We'll bring you every single piece of action from the 72nd Macau Grand Prix.
But be prepared for the timetable to slip a little bit, because if we're getting red flags in qualifying and we have to stop the clock, then there is a knock-on effect. I think we lost about an hour yesterday through stoppages towards the end of the day, and everything has to be done by 6 o'clock anyway, because then the road will open. So this session was due to have finished 4 minutes ago. We've still got 13 minutes remaining. And the next session after this will be for the touring cars, first of the 2 elements of qualifying, but we'll get the GT4 cars back out on track in about half a minute's time. board shown at the end of the pit lane. So we are back on schedule pretty much as far as GT4 cars are concerned, and the resumption of qualifying. Then they have their race on Sunday morning, but nothing tomorrow, so they get a day off.
Quite nice if it's sunny.
Yeah. Perfect conditions to repair a car in some cases.
Or get a grandstand seat and enjoy the action which is coming up tomorrow. Qualifying race day.
Very true. Right, there's the Kelvin Leung BMW and the Mercedes on the play of Hot Wai Ming. Oh, great. So now he's caused a traffic jam. He's got into the queue and it won't go. Will it?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Finally.
So number 12 gets on his way, Hot Wai Ming in the Team TRC Mercedes AMG. And there's a sense of urgency about this resumption, isn't there?
There is a little bit, yeah. And what's interesting is that all three Toyotas have gone out. So there, with 33, Han Li Chao, who we saw limping into the pit lane earlier, they've cured whatever the issue is seemingly, and Han Li Chao is back on the money.
A bit of time down in pit lane was a bit of a gift to them, wasn't it? Working on the Han Li Chao car. So that's good news. The Toyotas all out together. And a fairly speedy outlap as well. Bear in mind, we need to be using this carefully to get heat back into the tyres. The ambient temperature is helping with that. The track temperature goes up with the sunshine beating down on the tarmac. So it's an important part of the outlap.
So 11.5 minutes to go. This outlap about 2/3 of the way through, and the Toyota you're looking at is Chao Ti Kwan, Moritz Berenberg, trying to get through the traffic in the Porsche. You get the feeling that he's being held up a little bit here, but he can't do very much.
Trying to squeeze his way through,
yeah,
isn't he?
but now he's in that yellow flag zone, so it's all academic anyway, but he wants to try to clear, and then he can be in the front of the queue and in the clear track space from here on in where the road opens up. You can see behind Han Li Chao slowed the pack right down, weaving around to get warmth into the tyres, lets the traffic go ahead, and then will pull the pin coming down to black sands now and accelerates away.
They don't normally go around Macau hairpin quite so slowly, but finding a bit of clear track for the resumption of this session, the first of the flying laps, is really quite an important feature. And those two continue to circulate together, don't they?
Yeah, I think Berenberg might have called this wrong. I think the initial plan was that he'd jump ahead of the Toyota and then it would be fine. So he didn't drop back, but he hasn't been able to
press on.
I would at this point.
Me too.
Because you're not going to get through, and the pace is too similar. So Moritz Berenberg, I think, will be advised to let the Toyota go. But for now, as they come through the Solitude S's down towards Moorish, he's still stuck behind, but it's not helping this particularly. Darrell Young, in the meantime, remains at the top of the times. This will be the end of a flying lap, of course. Han Li Chao there in the Toyota Supra, currently 4th. So you've got Darrell Young, Daniel Liu, Moritz Berenberg, Han Li Chao as the order. And Han here has got the clear real estate that Moritz Berenberg wants. And
more importantly, has put in a couple of personal best sectors on this lap. So the good news is that 33 car looks to have suffered very nicely, having a little bit of extra time down in pit lane, and seems to be up to speed. So Han Li Chao, the 33 car, look at that, almost come to a stop coming around the Macau hairpin. Goodness me, the two Toyotas were at a stop, I think, briefly, coming down towards the green light, which flashes on the exit of the Macau.
He's through on the inside, so Kelvin Leung, or Leung Yenbeng, in the BMW M4, trying to pick his way through and then also backs off. 21 is under investigation, Wang Hao, for speeding in the pit lane. Right, Han Li Chao now up towards the line. And as you say, backing off at the hairpin to try to give himself as much clear track space as he could. So have another look at this. You've got Moritz Berenberg going very, very deep into the corner to try to slingshot his way out. And also, therefore, managed to stack up the Toyota 33 Supra, blasting on. Han Li Chao comes then with a personal best sector 1 and a slightly slower sector 2 to his name at the minute.
On pole position, that will be quite a celebration in itself here at Macau. The Toyota. Up towards the line goes Hanley Chow, across the line, breaks the timing beam, completes a lap and goes top. 2:31.722. So they were only personal improvements, only green sectors across the lap, but they all added up to knock Darrell Young off pole position. A 2:31.722 for Hanley Chow.
Good effort that, and bearing in mind that a few minutes ago that was a car in limp home mode, wasn't it, crawling to the pit lane?
It's going all right now.
It seems to be. Yes, it's on the recovered side. Moritz Berenberg there, still 4th in the order. Now, bear in mind, Hanley Chow, Darrell Young at the top of the times have got much more Macau experience. Moritz Berenberg 4th, newcomer to the circuit, going nicely, but Hanley Chow starting to close as those cars climb.
Darrell Young.
And Darrell Young has had a moment, look, so the Mercedes trying to rejoin. Is that down at Lisboa? Is he gone up the escape road? No, it's later in the lap, possibly. No, it is at Lisboa. So he has now sorted himself out, gets going again. Shows how hard they're trying, doesn't it?
And that's the second moment that Darrell Young has had, because when we saw the car down in pit lane, we saw that damage to the left front of the Mercedes. So it's he's really pushing on. He really wants this to be a dream weekend, doesn't he? Does Darrell Young, really pushing the extremities.
So hard on the brakes, car quivers under braking and just couldn't get it slowed down in time. Commits to the escape road, does exactly the right thing. Doesn't try and fight the car into the corner and risk an accident. So just lets it get up the escape road, turn it around, rejoin, reset, carry on.
You could just about get away with it if you get one little unsettled wiggle on the run towards Lisboa. If you go for a second and a third, you've got to use the escape road because it's all going to go horribly wrong. Kelvin Leung is number 6, the Song Veng Racing Team BMW M4. And
he's about to make a dive to get past Berenberg, isn't he? 6th in the times, Kelvin Leung. Yeah, he's got past the Porsche. So coming up towards the line now, BMW goes by. Better lap time, stays 6th for the driver from Macau. I think he's the highest placed of the Macau drivers, isn't he?
Top Macau driver in 6th place by some considerable margin, because what of number 7, Lei Kit Meng, is down there in 14th place for Lei Kit Meng, not having the best of sessions yesterday in FP1.
Did not rejoin the session, so that Ginetta still a problem.
Need to have a look at Daniel Liu on this lap, because he has just gone, oh, hang on, number 29 car has gone straight into the barrier down there, and that's Yip Un Ho.
That's a Moorish, and right it is Yip Un Ho, and it's beached in the barrier. Red flag is shown.
Best in sectors 2 and 3, a personal best in sector 1, but it all amounts to nothing, because the red flag comes out for the 3rd time during that half an hour of qualifying for the Greater Bay Area GT Cup. And it's Hanley Chow that's at the top of the times. Session will not be resumed, with recovery required over there for the number 29 car of Yip Un Ho, and the McLaren needs to be recovered, and the session will not restart. So Hanley Chow on provisional pole position at 2:31.393 from Darrell Young, starts on the front row of the grid.
So Hanley Chow, Darrell Young, the top 2, and it's a shame that the session was interrupted such, but Yip Un Ho's McLaren in the barriers. It'll take a little bit of retrieval, and as we were explaining, there's no way that there's going to be time to get even an outlap completed before the checkered flag. So the order at the end of qualifying for the final round of the SRO GT Cup, the Greater Bay Area GT Cup. Hanley Chow quicker than Darrell Young, Daniel Liu 3rd, Moritz Berenberg 4th, Cao Tzu Lung 5th, and Kelvin Leung 6th, ahead of Wang Hao. Then Tao Ti Kwam, Chen Chunhua 9th, and Lu Kai-shun comes home 10th in the order. Chuang Chi-shun next, ahead of Sai Chang Ta, then Yang Meng Chow and Lei Kit Meng. You've got Lam Kim Ho 15th, ahead of Wang Wei Hong and no time recorded for Brian Lai, and we never saw number 67, the battered Ginetta of Can Chi Wei, and I'm not sure we're going to see that tomorrow, but a great effort for Han Li Chao, fastest in GT4.